Talk to me a little bit about what is purpose to you? Why is it so important to everybody else?
I have a quote that goes around. Chris Williamson posts it a
Mm,
lot because he loves this quote. It's, if you give a man a purpose, he can crawl over broken glass with a smile. And that's really one of the foundational pieces for men, especially women as well. But let's talk about men for a moment. Is when you have a reason to endure pain, then that pain becomes an obstacle to overcome instead of a condition to endure or a condition to get away from. It becomes an obstacle on the pathway. It becomes a price.
mm,
You can laugh at that pain because you know that by enduring it, you're achieving something. If enduring the pain is an achievement in and of itself that achieves something even greater, you can laugh, you can smile, you can enjoy your life no matter what kind of pain you're in. We see this time and again with famous religious figures. We see it time and again with martyrs. We see it time and again throughout history. The people who have resonated the most are not the ones who run away from pain. They're the ones that take that pain and go through it and achieve something so much greater because they endured it. And that ultimately is that story of humanity is if you are in pain, what does that pain mean? What can you achieve through that? That's the important piece. What are you achieving by being in that pain? You're going to be in pain no matter what you do, right? And you've told me this before, and it's resonated with me, is you're going to be in pain no matter what you do. Do you want to be in pain because you are sitting there for 50 years hating yourself and hating your life and you've achieved nothing and you've run away from your fear? Or do you want to be in pain because your muscles are growing and stretching every single day, but you can look back proud at what you have done and the pain means nothing at that point?
That's some Dostoevsky level conversations.
Well, you're very, very Russian, my friend. So there you go.
Yes, well, they did figure out a thing or two about that.
So you've had time.
True, that is indeed true. So we have this then situation where you went from working in jail to working with rehab cases, like disabilities, and then all of a sudden you're just in a normal person clinic. What type of clients did you get?
A mixture, actually. So I had a lot of trust fund clients,
Okay.
a lot of high level business clients, a lot of very, very wealthy people all of a sudden, which was very interesting. I loved working with them. I also had a lot of homeless individuals, a lot of people shipped over from the hospital.
Interesting.
I had at-risk families who couldn't afford therapy themselves, so the county would pay me half rate, and I would make very, very almost nothing working for free. But working with them, I worked extensively with the African American population, which was wonderful, wonderful work. A lot of good people. Very broken family systems, unfortunately. I've worked extensively with every religious group and non-religious group as well. It was such an overwhelming cross selection of humanity. It was so wonderful. It was so wonderful. It was some of my happiest work, really. Where the jail was some of my most fulfilling. That was some of my happiest because they just funneled an endless stream of good people to me that wanted to get better. And I just sat and day after day I took people in. I would work 10-hour shifts, no breaks, no lunches, just 10 straight hours, and I would pop out of it invigorated, smiling, and continuing with my life because it barely felt like work. It was some of the happiest work I've ever done.
But it's also probably some of the most difficult thing to do, just to sit there and listen to 10 hours of human suffering. You used a term before, compassion fatigue. How do you not completely burn out from doing this for such a long time?
Yeah, you definitely have to manage yourself. You have to walk a careful line where you're not helping people to feel good about yourself. That's not the point here. That's more codependency. You're not walking a good line to getting good with God or whatever it might be. It's not like you're winning something by taking care of people. You have to legitimately love taking care of people. At the same time, you have to understand that you are the only asset you have. And if you stop functioning, then the people you're supposed to be helping don't get that help. They might get it somewhere else, but can they get it the same way somewhere else? What if there's nobody there? What if you're the last one on the line? So I got really good at making sure I could take a week away. Step away for a week. I got really good at having side projects. I did a lot of novel writing during that time, actually. People don't.
What'd you write about?
So I wrote, actually, hardcore heavy metal Christian fiction, and I wrote 1980s action.
What's a heavy
books.
metal Christian fiction? I've never heard about that.
It was so cathartic for me to write it. I would speak out loud and transcribe the book on my commute home. So I would do most of my writing on the commute. And then I'd compile a book at the end. I ended up writing 20 books that way just
20.
on my own. Yeah. So then, well, that was the first 20. I've written 40 books through the course of my life so far. But that was how I really dealt with my compassion fatigue, was to have this massive emotional outpouring in these pulp fiction novels.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp fiction. It really made me happy during that time.
Interesting. Well,
Although I did get some feedback that they were some of the darkest books anybody has ever read, because
I
I
wonder
put
why.
a lot of yeah. Well, when you go through the things that you've seen, like to me, the things that I've seen and experienced, they're I know they're not normal, but to me they are normal. So when someone else steps into my head, it's maybe horrifying for them in some ways.
so that was your outlet, is just to kind of convert
my
all
outlet.
of this and create a story out of
Yeah.
it.
So one of my first novel was a story about, just in general, some characters who go through horrific circumstances, but they form a peacekeeping group and use those circumstances to serve the people under their care. So it was something like that. I call them the Trauma Rangers in my head, not in the book, but it really helped, honestly.
You're gonna set up the real world trauma rangers next?
Well, maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Maybe.
If you like this clip, I know you're going to enjoy the full episode. You can watch it right here.